Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Pipe Report. I am doing this on my phone because I'm at my condo, as you can see by the dark walls, and I don't have my microphone or my webcam. Funny thing is that people on my Attic Sparing video, the haters, said, this looks like my mother's basement, so let me show you my condo quick before I do the video. Tell me if this looks like somebody's mother's basement. I don't think that does. In fact, I tried to paint it like Barney Stinson's apartment in How I Met Your Mother. That's why I have the black stripe up there, but not really somebody's mother's basement. Anyways, I want to go over an article quickly here. It's pretty interesting, and it means a lot. It means a lot, so bear with me. It's called Congress Probes Whether Obama DOJ Used the Trump Dossier Before the FISA Court. Both the House and the Senate are investigating whether the former President Obama's administration used intelligence in a salacious Trump dossier as evidence in a salacious way before a secret federal surveillance court to obtain permission to spy on Trump campaign aides and later his transition team. Leaders in Congress are trying to find out if the Obama DOJ and the FBI introduced the totally unsubstantiated material alleging unsavory connections between Trump and Russia before the Federal Intelligence Surveillance Court, congressional aides told the Daily Caller News Foundation. Yes, what this means is that this could be construed as fruit of the poisonous tree. And what that means is that it's a criminal justice term. If the evidence to obtain a search warrant, for instance, is falsified, if it's lacking, if it's unsubstantiated, that means that all subsequent information that is discovered from that warrant is inadmissible in court. Because to get that warrant was instituted based on falsified means. I mean, it might not be intentional, but if something was wrong or something that was misconstrued that gave that FISA court the ability to then create a warrant or to create a court order that allows an investigation to spy on people. I mean, this could happen in criminal justice based on a warrant, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, that can essentially destroy any case because all subsequent items that were discovered based on that false premise being that initial documentation that secured a warrant, that means that is inadmissible. And it appears that this could be the case with the whole investigation. So if this is true that the FISA court order to spy on Trump Tower, was actually approved by a court before any information on the dossier was given to the court, that means that that court did something against their own regulations. And therefore, everything spying on Trump is not really immoral, but unethical. And not only that, but it completely destroys the Robert Mueller investigation, because the Robert Mueller investigation is based on that dossier. That dossier is what gave Robert Mueller the ability to start investigating Trump and Trump associates. So what happens now? That's the key. Will Mueller stop his investigation? I somehow doubt it. I'm sure that he is getting more incentives to investigate Trump. We all know that James Comey basically worked for Hillary. We know that Hillary now has been implicated in bribery with Russia when James Comey was the FBI director and Comey let it slide. We now know for a fact that Comey actually never intended to recommend charges against Hillary. On the contrary, he actually already wrote the memo exonerating her before he even interviewed her or 17 other witnesses. So we know there is a nefarious connection between Hillary and Comey. Now, does our justice system, are our laws for everyone or just for those who don't have prominent statures? And
I think we'll find out soon. In a in an ideal world, in a world for laws, Comey would have to testify again in front of Congress. And he could probably get charges. He could probably get indictment on him for perjury because he lied. You can't see my finger. He lied to Congress more than once. More than once. When he was under oath, I have a video on my channel on this. Under oath, he was questioned by one of the congressmen, I think. I don't think, yeah, congressman, not a senator. And he basically said, the congressman asked him, did you make your decision up about Hillary Clinton before or after you interviewed her? And he said after. Even though Comey himself didn't interview her. I mean, how can you do that? Comey is leading the investigation into Hillary Clinton, and yet he doesn't interview her. He lets his associates interview her and then have them describe their meeting with her. That's just horrible police work. But anyways, Comey said no, after. He waited till after the interview to make his decision. We know that's a lie. He lied under oath. I think twice about it. Once for sure. I had the video on my channel, but I think it was even twice. And now we know he might have known that Hillary received a bribe from Russia, I think in 2009, I want to say it was, in 2009. And he didn't do anything about that either. So what this tells us is that Hillary Clinton has a lot of powerful friends. A lot of powerful friends in government. And there's no way, or there was no way, she was ever going to be indicted. It's a sad reality, but that's the fact. I don't know much about Christopher Wray, the new FBI director. However, if this is indeed the case, if we find out that the FISA order that was permitted to the FBI to spy on Donald Trump, if that was indeed approved before the unsubstantiated dossier was given to the courts, that would constitute as fruits of the poisonous tree, and therefore that order is invalid. And therefore, the investigation that was instituted because of that order is also invalid, and it must be disrupted. It must end. Now, what would happen if all of a sudden Mueller ended the investigation? Well, the media would freak out. Those on the left would freak out and say Mueller is paid by Trump, even though we know that Mueller and Comey are basically best friends, and we know that Comey essentially is Hillary Clinton's one of her good friends. I mean, Comey's brother Peter actually worked for the Clinton Foundation as their lawyer. Comey himself worked for Lockheed Martin, which was a member of the Clinton Global Initiative. So, I mean, Comey is corrupt. And funny thing about Comey is, if you actually listen to him talk, like during his testimony, he actually seems like an honest guy. But as we know, looks can be deceiving, and Comey is he does very well at making himself appear harmless. Like he is an honest guy just trying to do the best he can. And we know that's bullshit. We know that is a lie. Based on him lying under oath. Based on more information. Based on WikiLeaks. And it's good. It's good that these people are getting exposed by filth. This investigation into Trump is warrantless. And it should be ended. Especially if it turns out the dossier was not given to the FISA court before the FISA court order to spy on Trump was given. If that is indeed the case, if the investigation concludes that, then Trump would have a reasonable argument for firing Mueller. Now, I don't know if Trump can actually end the investigation, but he can fire Mueller. But in all actuality, if that is indeed the case, Mueller should, if he is a man of integrity, if he's a man of character, Mueller should drop out of the investigation. He should recommend that the investigation be terminated. So we will have to see. But I put the link to the article in the video here, so you can read it out. It's kind of a longer article, but I just wanted to kind of give the main points of it, the fruit of the poisonous tree, because that is very important. That is very important in criminal law, and it can either make or break a case. And in this case, it breaks the case, if it is indeed true. So we'll have to find out. Either way, the dossier, if it's unwarranted, if it's unsubstantiated, that should be enough for Mueller to end the investigation. Yet, he is still investigating, so if this turns out to be true, the FISA order was issued beforehand, that's an extra added incentive. And there's no possible way Mueller can still continue with the investigation. No possible way. But we shall see what happens. And I'm done.